Okay, I want you to picture this. It's Cairo, 1992, the Al-Muski district.
Right.
And it's chaos in a beautiful way. You can almost smell the spices, the exhaust. You hear the haggling, the carts clattering. It's just this incredible symphony of life.
Absolutely. And right in the middle of all that, in this small, unassuming place called the Pension Quasar El Medina, something very quiet is happening.
A resident has passed away, an old man the neighborhood knew and loved.
They all called him Tarek. Uncle Tarek. He was, this humble, deeply religious man, spoke several languages, but was just a fixture of the community.
A quiet end for a quiet man. Except it wasn't, because his last wishes included a very specific instruction.
Yes. He told the staff to open an old leather satchel he kept in his closet.
And what was inside? It had nothing to do with Tarek Hussein Farid, the man they thought they knew.
No. It was like opening a time capsule from a nightmare. There were German documents from the Nazi era, multiple passports with different names.
Photos of a man who looked nothing like the old man who had just died. And letters. Letters connected to the absolute highest levels of the Third Reich.
And this is where the story just completely explodes, because the identity in those papers was staggering.
The kind, pious Uncle Tarek from Al-Muski was Dr. Herbert Heim.
The Death Doctor. One of the most wanted, most sadistic Nazi war criminals on the entire planet. A man who was supposed to be a ghost.
So for our deep dive today, we're going to dissect how this happened. This isn't just about the horrific acts. It's about the sheer genius of the escape.
It's about how someone could hide in plain sight for 30 years, defying a global manhunt. It's an incredible story of strategy and pure evil.
And that evil started early. Heim was born in Austria, 1914. He grew up steeped in that rising fascist ideology.
And he didn't just drift into it. His commitment to Hitler, to the Nazi Party, was fervent. He joined the movement formally very early on.
It was his entire life. The sources point out that his focus was almost pathologically pure.
Almost. There was one tiny deviation mentioned. He married a student who apparently disagreed with his politics.
And that marriage didn't last.
It did not. It's like he tried deviating from the path once and decided, never again. After that, it was total commitment to the cause.
Which led him to medical school and then, very briefly, to treating soldiers. But that didn't interest him.
No, compassion wasn't the goal. He quickly proposed what he called his scientific research project.
Which, from his point of view, was about benefiting humanity.
From his monstrous point of view, yes. But his research subjects weren't volunteers. They were detainees in Nazi prisons.
He had unlimited access to human bodies.
And zero accountability. His goal was purely to see what would happen, to catalog in real time how the human body reacts to extreme external trauma.
And the specifics of that trauma are what earned him his name, the Death Doctor. We're talking about surgeries with no anesthetic.
None whatsoever. The entire point was to find out the maximum threshold for pain. How much can a human being endure before they simply collapse?
It's unimaginable.
But maybe the most clinically horrifying part was how he used poisons. A normal scientist would inject into the bloodstream to see the effects, right?
Right. The systemic effect.
He wasn't interested in that. He would inject substances, air, water, toxins, it didn't matter, directly into his victim's vital organ.
Directly into the heart.
Straight into the heart. So he could watch, with a stopwatch, exactly how long it took for the organ to fail and for the person to die.
This wasn't science, it was something else. It speaks to this deep psychological instability, this grandiosity.
Absolutely. And you see it in the trophies he kept.
The souvenirs.
Yeah. He once beheaded a prisoner, apparently a very intelligent man, just because he wanted to, quote, preserve the head. He kept it.
And there was a human skull he kept because he admired the man's teeth.
The dental structure, yes. And of course, the most infamous one, he made a lampshade.
Made from human skin.
And then gifted it to a colleague. This wasn't something hidden in a lab. This was his personality. This cruelty was part of his daily life. He felt completely untouchable.
And that same meticulous, horrific efficiency is exactly what he used to escape.
It is. After the war, he's captured. He's put on trial with other war criminals supervised by the U.S. government.
And the verdict is stunning. He's released.
Released. Insufficient evidence.
Which just sounds impossible. How? How is there insufficient evidence?
This is the first real sign of his operational genius. He knew this day was coming. Long before his capture, he must have systematically destroyed every single piece of incriminating evidence.
Every photo, every document.
Anything that could physically tie him to those specific experiments. He knew the post-war legal system was chaotic and depended on tangible proof.
And he made sure there was none.
He literally erased himself from his own crimes. So they let him go.
And he just walks back into German society. He opens a clinic.
A clinic for obstetrics and gynecology of all things. I mean, the camouflage is brilliant. He's a healer, a bringer of new life.
All while maintaining these secret connections, just waiting.
Right, because he knew the hunt wasn't really over. And the clock finally ran out for him in 1962.
What happened?
He gets a tip. Dangerous intelligence. Jewish organizations have compiled new evidence, and he is on a list.
A list for retrial
Or assassination. He realized he couldn't rely on the legal system anymore. He had to disappear for good.
And just like that, he was gone. 1962 is the start of this 30-year ghost story.
And his flight path is just a masterclass in evasion. He goes briefly to South America, then to Spain under an alias.
And these weren't cheap disguises. We're talking high-quality, forged documents.
Top tier. Good enough to get him across multiple borders. From Spain to Morocco, then to Libya. Always one step ahead.
And finally, he lands in Cairo, which seems like a very deliberate choice.
A highly strategic choice. Egypt in '62 was non-aligned. It wasn't a place where, say, Mossad could operate with impunity like they could in South America. It offered a different kind of anonymity.
So he arrives, the authorities have no alert for the Death Doctor, and Herber Heim ceases to exist.
And Tarek, the humble neighbor, is born.
And again, his choice of location is just genius. He doesn't hide out in some wealthy, isolated compound. He goes to the working-class Al-Muski district.
Hiding in plain sight, in the middle of the masses. He moves into the Pension and Quasar El Medina, befriends the owner, and just integrates.
People were impressed by him, his languages, his humility.
And his genuine affection for the country. It seems like it wasn't an act. That humility, that kindness, it earned him their trust, and eventually that nickname, Uncle Tarek.
And living there, surrounded by mosques, embraced by the community, he turns to Islam.
His neighbors brought him Islamic texts, but in German they helped him study, and eventually he converts. He takes the name Tarek Hussein Farid.
Which brings us to the central contradiction of his entire life, right? Was this real?
Was it the ultimate performance, or was it a genuine conviction?
And by all accounts, for the people who were there, it seems like it was real. They'd see him praying, reading the Quran with this incredible focus, even when he thought no one was watching.
And that's the story, and it's compelling. But you have to push back a little, don't you?
What do you mean?
I mean, for a man with his level of psychological discipline, his ability to create a completely new identity, the line between performance and reality gets incredibly thin.
So you're saying maybe he so fully became Tarek that it felt real, even to him.
Exactly. Is that a sincere conversion, or is it the most perfect, most protective form of identity theft a fugitive could ever hope to achieve? It provides this impenetrable social and emotional wall around him.
It's a chilling thought. His ability to just shed his own past. He got cancer in the 70s, and his neighbors all said he faced it with his deep faith, this acceptance of God's will.
He died in 1992. Private to the very end. He famously refused to be photographed. That one single photo we have of him in Cairo is incredibly rare.
And in death, he leaves one final bizarre twist.
His last request. 2 parts. To be buried in a simple charity cemetery.
And to donate his body to scientific research.
Of all things.
The world didn't find out any of this until his son, back in Germany, made the announcement. My father, Herber Heim, died in Egypt. He was living as Tarek Hussein Farid.
And of course, nobody believed it. International Jewish centers were convinced it was a trick, that he was still alive somewhere.
They needed proof.
Irrefutable proof, which they eventually got from a tooth provided by his local dentist there in Al-Muski. DNA confirmed it. The Death Doctor was dead.
30 years too late for justice.
Yeah.
But for the people who knew him in Cairo, the story never really added up.
No, the cognitive dissonance was just too much. Even after it was confirmed he was this monster, many just refused to believe it. They only remember the kind man, the man who was so loving toward their children.
He really did it. He convinced an entire community of his goodness.
He achieved something unique. He managed to convince the world he wasn't there at all, and convinced his community he was fully present. It's a masterclass in deception.
So we start this dive talking about a man who perverted science, who used human bodies for the most grotesque experiments imaginable.
And we end with that same man, as his final act on Earth, donating his own body back to the very science that he desecrated.
It leaves you with this one last impossible question.
After decades as the pious M. Tarek, what did that last request really mean? Was it a final, genuine act of penance? A desperate attempt by the man he had become to atone for the sins of the man he once was?
Or was it something darker?
Was it one last, cold, calculating act from Dr. Heim, the Death Doctor's final experiment, controlling the narrative even from beyond the grave? That's the contradiction you're left to figure out.